The Mysterious Smartphone. Chapter 1: The Mysterious Smartphone. In the quiet corner of her aunt's attic, Millie received an unexpected gift, a relic from the past wrapped in a layer of dust. Her fingers traced the unfamiliar edges of the ancient smartphone. Its screen seemed tiny compared to her sleek, modern device. The phone's plastic casing had yellowed with age, and the once shiny buttons appeared worn. "This belonged to your great-great-uncle," her aunt explained, a glint of mystery in her eyes. "He was always into peculiar things." Millie's initial excitement faded into curious skepticism as she inspected the archaic gadget. Her aunt mentioned an odd app called Spectral Chat, claiming it allowed communication with the other side. The concept seemed absurd yet strangely captivating. With a mix of hesitation and intrigue, Millie powered up the phone. The screen flickered to life, displaying a logo that resembled a spectral figure whispering secrets. The app's interface was eerie, adorned with ghostly silhouettes and swirling mist. Frowning, Millie tapped the Spectral Chat icon, revealing a chat window with no contacts, just an ominous, pulsating cursor, as if waiting for a message from beyond. A shiver raced down her spine, but curiosity got the better of her. "I wonder if this thing really works," she murmured, her breath quickening. Fingers trembling, she typed a test message, "Hello. Is anyone there?" Seconds stretched into eternity as the message floated, unanswered, in the digital void. Doubt clouded her mind, perhaps this was just an elaborate hoax. But then, to her astonishment, the cursor blinked, indicating a response. A chill gripped her heart as a faint glow emanated from the screen. A new message materialized before her eyes: "Who dares disturb the spectral realm?" Millie's pulse quickened, and a whirlwind of emotions surged within her: fear, disbelief, and an odd thrill all at once. Her fingers hovered over the keys, uncertain how to respond. "I'm Millie," she typed slowly. "I didn't mean to disturb anything. I was just curious." The reply was instantaneous. Curiosity can be both a gift and a curse. "You've opened a door, Millie. Are you prepared for what lies beyond?" The cryptic response sent a shiver down her spine. Her mind raced with questions. Was this some elaborate prank, or was there something truly inexplicable about this app? Before she could gather her thoughts, the screen glitched, displaying a distorted image, a shadowy figure with glowing eyes. The phone vibrated violently, slipping from her grasp and clattering against the attic floor. Heart pounding, Millie hesitated to pick up the phone. When she finally did, the screen had returned to the app's main menu, as if nothing unusual had occurred. But a sense of foreboding lingered in the air, a ghostly whisper in the silence of the attic. Millie's curiosity warred with her apprehension. Was she ready to unravel the mysteries concealed within this enigmatic smartphone? With a mix of dread and determination, she pocketed the device, its secrets beckoning to be unveiled. Millie hesitated, her finger hovering over the send button. It was just a simple introductory message, nothing that should evoke such unease. With a deep breath, she tapped the screen, sending a friendly wave emoji to the mysterious user on the app. Moments later, her phone buzzed with an incoming message. The speed of the reply was uncanny, and it sent a shiver down her spine. The message was cryptic, chillingly detailed about aspects of her past that only a few close friends knew. How could this stranger know about the abandoned house she'd dared to explore last summer, where she'd found an old photo album hidden in the attic? Her initial skepticism dissolved into genuine shock and fear. Her heart raced as she read the words again, each syllable etching an eerie feeling into her mind. The sender's knowledge felt intrusive, violating the boundaries of her privacy. Millie glanced around her room, suddenly feeling exposed, as if unseen eyes were watching her. The message had hit too close to home. "Who are you?" she typed, fingers trembling slightly as she sent the message. The reply was swift, words appearing almost instantaneously on the screen. "You'll find out soon enough." Dread settled in the pit of her stomach. It wasn't the response she expected. The hairs on the back of her neck stood on end, and she couldn't shake the feeling that something ominous loomed over her. Millie paced her room, trying to rationalize what had just happened. Maybe it was a prank, a glitch in the app, or someone playing mind games. But deep down, she couldn't dismiss the unsettling feeling that lingered. It was too personal, too accurate to be a mere coincidence. As she glanced at the screen again, a cold realization crept over her: this was not a joke. This was real, and it sent chills down her spine. She sank onto her bed, her mind swirling with confusion and fear. Should she delve deeper into the app, trying to uncover its mysteries, or should she distance herself from it altogether? Her adventurous spirit clashed with the fear of the unknown, leaving her torn and uneasy. The room felt oppressive, the shadows elongating as the sun dipped below the horizon. The gentle hum of the neighborhood outside seemed distant, drowned out by the weight of the unsettling encounter. Millie's phone lay beside her, the screen still displaying the haunting messages. She glanced at her bedroom window, the darkness beyond seemingly impenetrable. In that moment, the familiar street lamp outside flickered, casting eerie shadows that danced across her walls. A shiver ran down her spine as goosebumps prickled her skin. The decision weighed heavily on her. Should she confront this mystery head-on, or should she heed the warning signs and step away? The rational part of her mind urged caution, while curiosity tugged at her, urging her to unravel the enigma. With a heavy sigh, Millie switched off her phone, the screen going dark, temporarily shrouding the unsettling messages. But the haunting feeling lingered, refusing to dissipate. In the silence of her room, uncertainty loomed, and Millie found herself caught between the chilling encounter and the overwhelming desire to uncover the truth. Chapter 2: Cryptic Conversations. In the dim glow of her room, Millie hesitated before tapping the icon for the spectral chat app. She couldn't shake the feeling that each message she sent opened a door to the unknown. Yet, the unanswered questions gnawed at her curiosity like an itch she couldn't resist scratching. Fingers trembling, she initiated the chat, her heart racing in anticipation of Caleb's spectral response. The screen flickered, displaying the familiar pulsating light denoting a connection to the other side. "Hello, Caleb," Millie typed, her fingers hovering over the keys. "Can we talk?" Seconds turned to heartbeats before a response appeared. "Hello, Millie. You've returned." Relief washed over her. Caleb's reply seemed less ominous this time. She steadied her breathing and typed, "I'm curious about this place. Can you tell me more?" The chat became a dialogue, Millie cautiously probing with innocuous questions, testing the waters of Caleb's knowledge and intent. The ethereal exchanges revealed fragments of history intertwined with chilling tales, stories whispered behind closed doors and hushed in the town's archives. As Caleb disclosed cryptic details, Millie's eyes widened, captivated by the chilling narrative unfolding before her. She learned of Emily, a girl who vanished from the town decades ago without a trace. The mystery swirled with rumors of peculiar occurrences preceding her disappearance, unexplained lights, eerie whispers, and sudden cold gusts in otherwise still air. Millie's pulse quickened as each revelation seemed to pull her deeper into the enigma shrouding the town. She sensed a pattern, an unsettling web of secrets woven into the very fabric of the place she thought she knew so well. "Where is Emily now?" Millie typed, her fingers trembling slightly. Caleb's response materialized, each word causing an ominous shiver to cascade down her spine. "She's lost in the echoes of time, a presence between worlds." A chill swept through her room, the air growing colder, though the windows remained shut. Goosebumps prickled on Millie's skin as she processed the haunting implications of Caleb's words. Determined to unravel the truth, she pressed on. Why did she disappear? The spectral words appeared slowly, as if deliberating their weight. Some secrets are buried for a reason. Delving too deep may lead to darkness. Millie's breath caught in her throat. The ominous warning mingled with her desire for answers. She couldn't turn away now, the mystery had woven itself into her very being. She typed, her fingers more resolute than ever, "What happened here?" The chat remained eerily silent for moments that stretched like hours. Then, a flurry of messages appeared, disjointed phrases hinting at a hidden history, shadows lurking beneath the facade of normalcy. With each word from Caleb, Millie's world tilted on its axis. The sleepy town held secrets darker than she'd ever imagined, secrets that seemed to whisper from forgotten corners, begging to be unearthed. As she read the last spectral message, a shiver ran down her spine. "Beware, Millie. Not all shadows belong to the night." The screen faded to black, leaving her alone in the chilling silence of her room, a newfound sense of foreboding settling over her like a heavy shroud. Millie squinted at her phone, rereading Caleb's latest message. The screen glowed eerily in the dimness of her room, the words almost taunting in their vagueness. Asterisk, the shadows hold secrets that echo through time. Beware the depths you seek. They watch. Asterisk. It sent shivers down her spine, the cryptic nature of Caleb's messages adding to the mystery surrounding Emily's disappearance. Millie's curiosity had driven her to delve deeper into the enigmatic clues, but now, each revelation only seemed to lead to more questions. She tapped her pencil nervously against her notebook, frustration mingling with the growing fear in her chest. Her investigations had hit a dead end, and the town's eerie silence only intensified her anxiety. Something wasn't right, and Millie knew it in her bones. The night wrapped around her window, casting elongated shadows across the room. Her gaze lingered on the darkness outside, feeling as though unseen eyes peered back at her. She shook her head, trying to dispel the ominous sensation. But Caleb's warning echoed in her mind, urging caution. Yet, a spark of determination flickered within her. She couldn't abandon the search, not when it felt like Emily's vanishing held the key to something larger, something sinister lurking beneath the surface of their ordinary town. As she pondered her next move, the old grandfather clock downstairs chimed, startling her. Each clang of the metal bell seemed to reverberate through the silence, heightening the tension that gripped her. Millie glanced once more at her phone, contemplating whether to continue or heed Caleb's veiled advice. The choice loomed before her like a haunting specter, tugging her in conflicting directions. Should she push forward into the unknown or retreat from the encroaching shadows? A creaking sound resonated from the hallway, causing her heart to skip a beat. She froze, her breath catching in her throat. A chill slithered down her spine as she strained to listen, but the house remained eerily quiet. With a hesitant exhale, Millie rose from her desk, her hand trembling slightly as she reached for the doorknob. The hallway stretched before her, bathed in the soft glow of moonlight streaming through the windows. Each step felt heavy, laden with the weight of uncertainty. As she passed by her parents' room, a faint whisper danced through the air, barely audible yet distinct. Millie's pulse quickened, and she paused, straining to discern the source of the sound. It seemed to emerge from the shadows themselves, a haunting murmur that sent chills down her spine. Emily. The name floated through the darkness, laden with an otherworldly quality that made Millie's blood run cold. Her breath caught in her throat, her mind racing with a myriad of emotions. Fear mingled with a desperate need for answers, but an underlying sense of danger pulsed in the air. The warning signs were unmistakable, urging her to retreat. Torn between her curiosity and the palpable sense of foreboding, Millie stood at a crossroads, her heart pounding. The choice loomed before her, a pivotal moment that would shape the course of her journey into the unknown. With a deep breath, Millie clenched her fists, grappling with her conflicting emotions. She had to decide, continue the pursuit despite the growing danger or heed the ominous warnings and step back from the enigmatic mystery that had consumed her thoughts. Chapter 3: Eerie Encounters. Millie sat at her desk, staring at the glowing screen of her phone. The room was silent except for the faint ticking of the old grandfather clock in the corner. But silence had become an illusion lately. The eerie whispers had returned, weaving through the stillness of the night like ghostly tendrils. At first, she dismissed them as her imagination playing tricks on her, but they grew more distinct with each passing night. Soft murmurs that seemed to emerge from the walls, whispering words she couldn't quite grasp. They carried an otherworldly cadence, sending shivers down her spine. Tonight, however, something felt different. The whispers seemed to coalesce, forming almost coherent sentences that toyed with her sanity. Lost, secrets, spectral, beware, the ethereal voices murmured, teasingly dancing on the edge of comprehension. Millie's fingers trembled as she tapped on the spectral chat app icon. The messages she received there had coincided with these strange occurrences, but she dared not share her fears. It had started innocently enough, a curiosity that led her to download the app, hoping for harmless ghost stories or spooky tales shared by other users. Instead, the messages seemed tailored to her experiences, almost as if the app predicted these unsettling manifestations. Her phone buzzed softly, a new message flashing on the screen. They see what you cannot. Trust the whispers. Her heart raced, and a lump formed in her throat. She glanced around her room, her gaze landing on a family portrait hanging on the wall. For a moment, she could swear the figures in the picture shifted, their eyes locking with hers in an uncanny gaze. A chill swept through her, and she instinctively looked away, heart pounding against her ribs. Was it her mind playing tricks again, or was there something truly sinister at play? The following days blurred together, a relentless cycle of inexplicable events tormenting Millie. Objects moved when she wasn't looking, doors creaked open on their own, and shadows danced in the corners of her vision. Sleep had become a fleeting luxury, each night haunted by the whispers that echoed in the darkness. Alone in her unease, Millie withdrew from her friends and family, fearing their skepticism or worse, their belief that she'd lost her mind. She carried the weight of these eerie encounters on her shoulders, her anxiety a constant companion. In the silence of her room one night, a sudden draft sent a chill down her spine. The room plunged into darkness as the lights flickered and died. Heart pounding, Millie fumbled for her phone, the only source of illumination. As she illuminated the room with its feeble light, she caught a glimpse of a fleeting shadow in the corner, a shape that melted into the darkness before she could discern its form. Breath hitching, she clutched her phone tightly, the message on the screen from the spectral chat app burning into her mind. Embrace the unknown. It sees you. A sense of foreboding settled over her, and she realized she was no longer just witnessing strange events. She was entangled in something far beyond her understanding, and the weight of it pressed down on her with suffocating intensity. Millie was alone in her haunted reality, and the true horror lay in not knowing who, or what, lurked in the shadows, watching her every move. Millie's fingers danced across the keyboard, her eyes fixed on the screen, the soft glow illuminating her determined expression. Pages upon pages of search results scrolled before her, each click bringing a mix of hope and dread. She skimmed through articles about paranormal encounters, haunted towns, and unexplained phenomena, hoping for a clue that might untangle the web of mystery encircling her life. The clock ticked ominously in the corner of her room as she leaned back in her chair, frustration gnawing at her. Despite countless hours spent researching, the pieces of the puzzle remained scattered, refusing to fit together. The app, Caleb's cryptic messages, and the chilling manifestations seemed like threads leading to a tangled knot she couldn't undo. Her phone buzzed, startling her. It was another message from Caleb, cryptic as ever. The shadows know, it read. Millie's heart skipped a beat. She glanced around her room, half expecting something lurking in the corners. But it was just the usual eerie silence, broken only by the distant creaks of the house settling. Determined not to let fear paralyze her, Millie focused on the town's history. Old newspapers and archived records became her companions as she pieced together fragments of the past. The town's forgotten stories whispered tales of inexplicable occurrences, vanishing without a trace from historical records, leaving behind a haunting silence. As dusk descended, Millie's nerves were on edge. Her phone buzzed again, but this time, it was not from Caleb. It was an alert from the app, displaying a message that froze her blood. "Meet me where it began." She gulped, recognizing the eerily familiar words. The same phrase had echoed through her nightmares. Was this a trap, or a chance to unravel the mystery once and for all? Her determination overpowered her fear, propelling her towards the unknown. The town square lay deserted, bathed in the soft glow of the moonlight. Millie scanned the surroundings, her heart pounding like a drum. Shadows seemed to twist and elongate, taking on eerie shapes that sent shivers down her spine. A soft, chilling whisper echoed in the air, "You seek answers, child." Millie's pulse quickened. She turned to find a figure emerging from the darkness, its features obscured by a swirling mist. Goosebumps prickled her skin as dread settled like a stone in her stomach. The figure stepped closer, revealing a silhouette with piercing, glowing eyes that seemed to bore into her soul. Cold tendrils of fear slithered down her spine, but she stood her ground, her voice quivering yet resolute. "Who are you?" "I am the echo of forgotten tales, the keeper of secrets," the figure hissed, its voice carrying an otherworldly resonance. Millie's mind raced. This was the sinister force behind it all. Panic threatened to overwhelm her, but she fought it back, desperation mingling with determination. She needed answers, and she wouldn't back down now. Before she could gather her thoughts, the figure lunged forward, a chilling wind following its advance. Millie stumbled backward, her heart racing, her breaths coming in shallow gasps. She fumbled for her phone, her trembling fingers desperately typing a message to Caleb, hoping against hope for help. In that tense moment, a glimmer of resolve shone in her eyes. She wouldn't succumb to fear. She had to confront this sinister force, to protect herself and her town. The chilling entity loomed closer, but so did Millie's unwavering determination to survive and unveil the truth behind the haunting mystery. Chapter 4: The Haunting Truth. Millie tapped her pen against the worn wooden desk, her eyes fixed on the ancient-looking tome sprawled open in front of her. Dust particles danced in the sunbeams that streamed through the small library window, casting an ethereal glow on the faded pages. Beside her, Sam scoured through yellowed newspaper clippings, muttering under his breath as he scanned the headlines. "This town's history is like a tangled web," Sam remarked, pushing his glasses up the bridge of his nose. Millie nodded, flipping through pages filled with cryptic symbols and sketches of arcane artifacts. The air in the library felt thick with the weight of secrets waiting to be unraveled. Their investigation had led them here, to the heart of the town's archives. Armed with determination and curiosity, they delved into the records, determined to uncover the truth behind the chilling events that had plagued their town. "Hey, Millie, check this out," Sam called out, excitement tingling in his voice. She hurried over, peering at a faded photograph in his hands. It depicted a peculiar-looking amulet, adorned with ornate engravings that seemed to pulse with an otherworldly energy. A caption beneath the picture read, "The Cursed Relic of Acheron." Millie's pulse quickened. That's it. The artifact mentioned in the legend. Their hearts raced as they pieced together fragments of the town's history, weaving together snippets of folklore, archived journals, and local whispers. The deeper they dug, the clearer the connections became. Whispers of the relic's dark powers, tales of unexplained vanishings, and shadows that haunted the town for generations began to merge. Excitement mingled with a growing sense of unease. Sam and Millie exchanged knowing glances, their enthusiasm tempered by a creeping realization that they were on the brink of uncovering something truly ominous. Days turned into nights, and their investigation led them down a twisted path, revealing disturbing ties between the missing Emily and the cursed artifact. An unsettling pattern emerged, intertwining the spectral app's origins with the town's ominous past. Sam's voice quivered slightly as he traced a line in an old journal. "Look here, Millie. It talks about a spectral app created by a group of researchers. They were experimenting with something beyond our understanding." Millie's breath caught in her throat. It can't be a coincidence. The spectral app, it's connected to this relic. The pieces were falling into place like a sinister puzzle. A chill swept through the room, the air heavy with foreboding. Their exhilaration gave way to a growing sense of trepidation as they realized the gravity of their discovery. "This can't be real, can it?" Sam's voice wavered, echoing the uncertainty that gripped them both. Millie swallowed hard, her mind racing. "It feels too intertwined to be mere coincidence. There's something dark at play here, something ancient and malevolent." Their faces paled as the weight of their findings sank in. They had stumbled upon a hidden truth far beyond their understanding, and the implications sent shivers down their spines. With each unearthed detail, their curiosity warred with the looming sense of danger, propelling them deeper into a mystery that blurred the lines between folklore and reality. They knew one thing for certain: their journey had only just begun, and the shadows lurking in the town held secrets that begged to be revealed, no matter the risks. In the dimly lit room, Millie and Sam huddled around a flickering table lamp, surrounded by scattered papers and ancient tomes. The air crackled with tension as they pored over dire warnings etched in faded ink, tales of tragedies that echoed through the ages. "The relic of Acheron, it's more dangerous than we ever imagined," Millie murmured, her voice tinged with a mixture of disbelief and dread. Sam nodded grimly, his gaze fixed on an account of a previous encounter with the cursed artifact. "These stories, Millie, people's lives torn apart, families shattered. We can't let that happen again." Their hearts heavy with the weight of newfound knowledge, they grappled with the realization that their innocent curiosity had set forth a series of catastrophic events. Fear gnawed at their resolve as they understood the depth of danger lurking within the artifact's malevolent influence. "We have to stop it," Millie declared, her voice firm despite the tremor of fear. Sam nodded in agreement. "But how? How do we face something so ancient, so powerful?" Their palms grew clammy as they mulled over the daunting task ahead. Acceptance of the responsibility thrust upon them mingled with the chilling realization that their actions had inadvertently unleashed an insidious force. As the night wore on, a plan began to take shape amidst the labyrinth of warnings and cursed lore. They knew confronting the malevolent entity wouldn't be without peril, yet they couldn't turn a blind eye to the looming threat shadowing their town. "We can't let fear hold us back," Millie said, her voice resolute. "We have to confront this head-on, for the sake of everyone affected." Sam's nod conveyed both determination and a trace of apprehension. "Agreed. But we need a strategy, a way to contain it." They meticulously crafted a plan, drawing from their newfound knowledge and incorporating elements of ancient rituals they'd stumbled upon in their research. The room buzzed with a charged energy as they prepared for the perilous undertaking. As dawn approached, Millie and Sam stood at the town's edge, their breaths visible in the chilly morning air. The weight of their decision to confront the malevolent force bore down on them, but their resolve remained unyielding. "We can do this," Millie said, her voice a whispered reassurance to both herself and Sam. With a shared nod, they stepped forward, armed with determination and a concoction of ancient charms designed to neutralize the cursed artifact's influence. The town's eerie silence enveloped them as they navigated toward the source of the supernatural disturbance. Every step forward felt like a journey into the unknown, shadows lengthening around them, their hearts pounding in unison. Fear coursed through their veins, but a sense of responsibility and a desire to right their unwitting wrongs propelled them onward. As they reached the epicenter, the air thickened with an otherworldly presence. The artifact pulsed ominously, its malevolence tangible. Millie and Sam exchanged a glance, their eyes reflecting a mix of determination and trepidation. Summoning every ounce of courage, they enacted the plan, reciting ancient incantations and channeling their combined will to contain the malevolent force. A surge of energy rippled through the air, the artifact's aura fluctuating wildly. In a dazzling display of light and shadow, the curse began to recede, dissipating into the ether. Relief washed over them as the malevolent force faded, leaving behind a sense of eerie calm. Millie and Sam glanced at each other, a silent acknowledgement of the risks they'd faced and the responsibility they'd shouldered. Though shadows still lingered, a glimmer of hope emerged, their town now freed from the clutches of the ancient curse they had bravely confronted. Chapter 5: Spiraling Fear. Millie jabbed at her smartphone screen, frustration etched on her face as she attempted, once again, to uninstall the app that had brought nothing but trouble. Sam stood nearby, his brow furrowed in concentration as he tried another method. "No luck," Millie muttered, her voice tinged with irritation. "I've tried everything, deleting it, resetting the phone, asking online tech forums. Nothing works." Sam glanced over at Millie's phone, tapping away on his own device. "Same here. It's like this thing doesn't want to leave." They exchanged worried glances, a knot of anxiety growing in their stomachs. The app, initially a harmless download promising fun and games, had turned into a nightmare they couldn't shake off. They had hoped that by now, they would have rid themselves of its haunting presence. But it seemed the app was determined to stay. A shiver ran down Millie's spine as she stared at her phone. "What do we do, Sam? It feels like it's watching us." Sam glanced around the room, the eerie silence amplifying their unease. "I don't know, Millie. But we can't let this thing control us." Their sense of dread only deepened as they realized they were trapped in a situation they couldn't comprehend, let alone control. As days passed, their encounters with the spectral presence grew more frequent. Whispers lingered at the edge of their hearing, chilling them to the bone. Shadows seemed to stretch longer, and odd shapes flickered in the corners of their vision. One evening, while studying in Millie's room, they heard a spine-tingling hum, a sound that seemed to seep from the walls themselves. The room grew colder, and the air felt charged with an otherworldly energy. Goosebumps formed on their skin as the atmosphere crackled with an eerie intensity. "Sam, do you feel that?" Millie's voice trembled. He nodded, his eyes wide. "Something's not right." Their gaze darted around the room, searching for the source of the disturbance. Suddenly, a translucent figure materialized in the center of the room, a spectral silhouette that sent shockwaves of terror through them. A voice echoed, chilling and spectral. "You cannot escape me." Millie and Sam's hearts pounded against their chests. Fear immobilized them as the ghostly figure loomed closer, its hollow eyes fixed upon them. "We have to do something." Millie's voice quivered, her mind racing for a solution. In a desperate attempt, Sam lunged toward the smartphone lying on Millie's desk, aiming to delete the accursed app once more. But as his fingers brushed against the screen, a surge of spectral energy flared, throwing him backward with an unseen force. "Sam!" Millie cried out, rushing to his side. The figure vanished as abruptly as it appeared, leaving Millie and Sam shaken and gasping for breath. "I can't take this anymore, Millie," Sam said, his voice trembling. "We need to find someone who knows about this stuff, someone who can help us." Millie nodded, her eyes filled with determination. "Tomorrow, first thing, we'll seek help. We can't face this alone." With a shared resolve to confront their fears and unravel the mysteries shrouding the malevolent app, Millie and Sam braced themselves for the daunting task that lay ahead. But as night settled in, they couldn't shake off the feeling of being watched, the lingering sense of dread that whispered of more sinister encounters to come. Chapter 3: Fraying Threads of Fear. The nights had grown restless for Millie and Sam. Sleep, once a respite from the swirling mysteries and eerie encounters, had become elusive. Shadows danced on their bedroom walls, mimicking the unsettling sensation of being watched. It was as though the silence itself whispered secrets, leaving them in a perpetual state of unease. In Millie's room, the clock blinked 3:33 a.m. She lay awake, staring at the ceiling, the weight of countless sleepless nights carving deep bags under her eyes. Sam's nightly ritual of texting her to ensure she was all right had become a fleeting comfort, a reassurance amidst the overwhelming strangeness that had encased their town. Sam too struggled, his room filled with an eerie glow from his phone as he scrolled through articles, seeking any semblance of a clue that might unravel the mystery they found themselves entangled in. His nerves frayed at the edges, worn thin by the relentless encounters that had shaken the foundation of their reality. The relentless pressure had taken its toll, and the once unbreakable bond between Millie and Sam now bore the cracks of fear and desperation. The slightest noise would startle them, their conversations tinged with paranoia as they debated the next course of action. At school, they shared stolen glances in the hallway, wordlessly acknowledging the constant turmoil in each other's eyes. They huddled in corners, whispering about the inexplicable events, feeling the cold fingers of fear grip their hearts. Their classmates noticed the change, the vibrant duo now shadows of their former selves, consumed by an unseen terror. As the sun set on yet another disquieting day, Millie and Sam found themselves on the old park bench at the edge of town. The dense forest loomed behind them, the trees whispering secrets of their own, adding an eerie backdrop to their gathering desperation. "We can't keep going like this, Sam," Millie said, her voice a mere echo of its former confidence, her hands trembling. "I know," Sam replied, his voice tight with anxiety. "But what else can we do? We can't ignore this anymore. It's gotten worse." Millie nodded, the weight of responsibility settling heavily on her shoulders. "We have to confront this. Whatever it is. Tomorrow. We have to figure it out." Sam met her gaze, a mixture of fear and determination swirling in his eyes. Together. Their agreement hung in the air, sealing an unspoken pact. They would face whatever sinister force haunted their town, united against the encroaching darkness. As they stood to leave, a chilling wind swept through the park, carrying whispers that seemed to coalesce into a haunting message: beware the app's lure, for its secrets hold a malevolent core. Millie and Sam exchanged a glance, shivers running down their spines. They knew the time for confrontation had arrived, and their battle against the ominous force would soon commence. With their friendship as their shield and determination as their sword, they would confront the unknown and safeguard their town from the encroaching peril. Chapter 6: Unraveling the Mystery. Millie's heart raced as she and Sam approached the weathered house nestled at the edge of town, its windows dark, seemingly brooding. The retired paranormal investigator, Mr. Whitaker, was known for his expertise in matters of the supernatural. Legend had it that he'd encountered the cursed artifact's malevolent spirit years ago. Now, with the spectral app tormenting them, Millie and Sam had no choice but to seek his help. They exchanged a nervous glance before knocking on the creaky door. It swung open, revealing Mr. Whitaker, his eyes sharp and penetrating, as if he could see the eerie forces plaguing the two friends. "Come in," he rasped, motioning them inside the dimly lit foyer. Books on the occult lined the shelves, and odd-looking trinkets cluttered the room, each with a story of its own. The air hung heavy with the scent of old paper and something faintly metallic. Millie's voice quivered. "Mr. Whitaker, please, we need your help. The app, it's haunting us, showing horrifying visions." Sam added, his tone urgent, "We believe it's tied to the cursed artifact you encountered before." Mr. Whitaker's gaze bore into them, weighing their words. "I warned folks about dabbling in such artifacts. Sit," he gestured to the worn couch. "I might have some insight." Hope and apprehension intertwined within Millie and Sam as Mr. Whitaker recounted his encounter. He spoke of the artifact's history, its malevolent nature, and the ritual that could banish its spirit. "The ritual requires precise steps," Mr. Whitaker explained, voice low. "You'll need to find the original resting place of the artifact. But beware, time is of the essence." Relief washed over them at the possibility of a solution. However, Mr. Whitaker's next words hung in the air like an ominous shroud. "The ritual must be performed before the spectral force gains full power. You have until the eve of the next full moon." Millie's chest tightened. "How do we find the original resting place?" The investigator leaned in, his voice dropping to a whisper. "The artifact's origins trace back to the abandoned estate on the outskirts of town. It's said to hold secrets buried in its depths." Determination etched on their faces, Millie and Sam nodded in unison, their resolve unwavering despite the mounting pressure. Leaving Mr. Whitaker's abode, they stepped into the twilight, the sky tinged with an eerie hue. "We need to hurry," Sam said, urgency lacing his words. Millie glanced at her friend, determination blazing in her eyes. "We'll figure it out. Together." They navigated the winding paths toward the outskirts, the overgrown foliage casting elongated shadows in the fading light. As they approached the decrepit estate, the air grew heavy with an otherworldly chill. A rustling echoed through the dilapidated halls, sending shivers down their spines. Shadows danced ominously in the moonlight, whispering ancient secrets. "We're not alone," Sam whispered, his voice barely audible over the haunting whispers. Millie's pulse quickened, but she pressed on, her heart set on banishing the malevolent spirit. They moved deeper into the estate, unaware of the lurking dangers and the spectral force tightening its grip on their reality. The night loomed ahead, pregnant with mystery and foreboding, as they ventured deeper into the haunted grounds, ready to unravel the artifact's chilling secrets. With the eerie night cloaking the abandoned estate, Millie and Sam prepared to confront the darkness that awaited them within. Millie's heart raced as she followed the dusty pages of the weathered tome, her fingers tracing faded lines of cryptic riddles and long-forgotten whispers. The air hummed with tension as she, Sam, and the investigator, Mr. Hawthorne, huddled over the ancient book in the dimly lit library. "Look at this," Sam exclaimed, pointing to a faded illustration of a peculiar emblem etched on a crumbling map. "That symbol. It matches the pendant's engraving." Mr. Hawthorne adjusted his glasses, his eyes narrowing at the aged parchment. "The symbol marks the original site of the artifact's resting place. But it speaks of a place long abandoned, hidden beneath the surface of the town's history." A surge of determination pulsed through Millie. "We have to find it. That's where the answers lie." Armed with historical clues and a flicker of hope, the trio set out into the dusk-kissed town, following the breadcrumb trail of forgotten tales and whispered legends. Shadows danced along the cobblestone streets as they ventured into obscure corners and forgotten alleyways, chasing fragments of the town's enigmatic past. Their journey unveiled tales of a bygone era, of a secretive society guarding ancient relics, and of a place whispered only in hushed tones, a desolate patch concealed beneath the veil of time. As they ventured deeper into the labyrinthine underbelly of the town, an uneasy tension lingered. The air grew thick with a foreboding chill, and the ghostly whispers of the past seemed to echo through the narrow passages, sending shivers down their spines. "We're close," Mr. Hawthorne muttered, his voice barely audible over the haunting whispers. "But be cautious. The artifact's malevolent presence grows stronger the closer we get." Their surroundings shifted, the atmosphere tinged with an ominous hue. Shadows stretched, contorting into sinister shapes that lurked at the edge of vision. Eerie whispers coalesced into chilling warnings, urging them to turn back. But Millie's resolve remained unyielding. "We have to keep going. We're so close." As they pressed forward, the air crackled with an unsettling energy. Shadows converged, weaving a tapestry of darkness that seemed to breathe and pulse with a malevolent force. The ground beneath their feet trembled, and the once familiar streets distorted into a macabre maze. Panic flickered across Sam's face. "This doesn't feel right. It's getting more dangerous." Mr. Hawthorne nodded grimly. "The artifact's power is surging. We must hurry." Their footsteps quickened, urgency propelling them forward. But with every step, the malevolent manifestations intensified, a chorus of disembodied whispers, spectral apparitions flickering at the edges of their vision, and a sense of impending doom looming over them. As they approached a decrepit alley, the ground quivered beneath them, the very fabric of reality warping. Time seemed to slow, the air thick with an otherworldly presence that threatened to engulf them. "We're here," Mr. Hawthorne exclaimed, pointing to a faded symbol etched into a moss-covered wall. "This is where it all began." But before they could react, an ominous shadow, twisted and ethereal, emerged from the darkened alley, blocking their path. The air crackled with an otherworldly force, freezing them in their tracks. A spine-chilling voice echoed from the shadows, "You dare trespass upon the artifact's domain?" Fear clenched Millie's heart. The danger had reached its pinnacle, and time was slipping away. They were racing against an otherworldly force, and the stakes had never been higher. Chapter 7: Race Against Time. Millie's flashlight sliced through the darkness, casting elongated shadows that danced along the tunnel walls. Sam trailed close behind, their footsteps echoing eerily in the cavernous space. The air was thick with a chilling coldness that seeped into their bones, despite the layers of clothing they wore. "We shouldn't be here," Sam whispered, the tremor in his voice betraying his attempt at bravery. Millie's jaw clenched, her determination masking the tremble in her hands. "We have to find the artifact and stop whatever is happening. Caleb's messages led us here. We can't turn back now." The spectral app Caleb had created had led them to these tunnels, a place whispered about in hushed tones among the townsfolk, a labyrinth of forgotten passages buried beneath the town's foundations. As they pressed on, the walls seemed to close in, the tunnels twisting and turning like a maze designed to confound and trap them. Strange symbols etched into the walls pulsed with an otherworldly glow, casting an eerie ambience that sent shivers down their spines. A sudden draft ruffled Millie's hair, carrying with it faint whispers that slithered through the darkness. She turned, expecting to see Sam behind her, but he was nowhere in sight. Panic bubbled up within her, threatening to consume her reason. "Sam! Where are you?" Silence greeted her, broken only by a distant echo that sounded like Sam's voice calling out for help. With a renewed sense of determination, Millie followed the sound, her heart pounding against her ribs. She stumbled upon a fork in the tunnel, each path shrouded in impenetrable darkness. Unsure of which way to go, she hesitated, her breaths shallow and rapid. Then, she remembered the advice Caleb had left for them in his spectral messages, a riddle hinting at the left path being the key to unlocking the artifact's location. Taking a deep breath, Millie turned left, her flashlight's beam revealing a faint glow in the distance. As she ventured forth, the walls seemed to shimmer with spectral images, flickering apparitions that flashed and vanished, leaving behind a sense of foreboding. Suddenly, a deafening noise reverberated through the tunnel, a cacophony of scraping and groaning that made the very ground tremble. Millie's heart raced as she pressed on, driven by a determination to reunite with Sam and fulfill their mission. Finally, the tunnel opened into a vast chamber, the walls adorned with ancient symbols glowing a malevolent red. Sam stood in the center, transfixed by a spectral apparition swirling above an ancient pedestal. "Sam!" Millie called out, rushing toward him. But as she approached, the apparition coalesced into a haunting figure, a spectral manifestation with hollow eyes that seemed to pierce through her soul. It spoke in an ethereal whisper that echoed within their minds, revealing chilling truths about the artifact's dark origins and its potential to bring catastrophe upon their town. Fear and awe seized Millie and Sam, their resolve tested by the haunting revelations. They exchanged a glance, their shared determination steeling their nerves as they prepared to confront the malevolent force lurking within the artifact. Their quest had only just begun, and the true horrors of the tunnels lay ahead, waiting to be unraveled. Deep within the labyrinthine tunnels beneath the old abandoned mill, Millie and Sam cautiously navigated the dusty passages, their flashlight beams slicing through the thick darkness. The air grew heavier, a suffocating weight pressing against their chests as they drew closer to the heart of the tunnels. A faint, otherworldly glow emanated from the artifact's resting place, a pulsating orb nestled within a stone pedestal. Its eerie radiance cast haunting shadows across the chamber. Millie and Sam exchanged wary glances, a silent understanding passing between them that this was the epicenter of the inexplicable events plaguing their town. The artifact exuded a malevolent aura, crackling with latent power. It seemed to pulsate with a life of its own, its presence tingling with an ominous energy that sent shivers down their spines. Dread coiled in their stomachs, but they steeled themselves with determination, knowing they had to contain its perilous force before it unleashed untold chaos upon their town. Sam's voice wavered as he spoke, "We need to act fast, Millie. This thing, it's not just dangerous, it's malevolent." Millie nodded, her jaw set with determination despite the tremble in her voice. "Agreed. Let's do this, Sam." With a shared breath, they stepped closer to the artifact, its power almost tangible. They retrieved the talismans they'd gathered, each etched with ancient symbols passed down through generations. As they began arranging the protective symbols around the artifact, a sinister hum reverberated through the chamber, intensifying with each movement they made. Sweat beaded on their foreheads as they worked feverishly, a sense of urgency consuming them. Their hands trembled as they struggled to place the talismans in the precise pattern, their hearts racing in tandem with the mounting malevolent energy. The artifact seemed to resist their attempts, its glow pulsating violently, threatening to break free from its restraints. Fear gnawed at their resolve, but they pressed on, their determination fueling their efforts to contain the impending disaster. As Millie and Sam persisted in their ritual, the malevolent force surged, resisting their every move. The air crackled with static, and the ground beneath them trembled, ominous fissures snaking across the chamber floor. "We're running out of time," Sam shouted above the escalating chaos. The walls of the chamber groaned, echoing the ominous threat. Millie's heart hammered against her chest as she felt the weight of the impending catastrophe. Every fiber of her being urged her to complete the ritual before it was too late. With unwavering determination, they intensified their efforts, channeling all their focus into completing the protective barrier around the artifact. Their hands trembled, sweat-soaked and slick against the talismans. The air thickened with malevolence, pressing down on them like an impending storm. "We can't give up," Millie yelled, her voice strained with effort. "We're so close." Their hearts pounded in sync with the pulsating rhythm of the artifact. Sparks of malevolent energy crackled around them, threatening to engulf everything in their path. But they persisted, driven by the dire need to protect their town and its inhabitants. A surge of defiance surged within them, lending newfound strength to their trembling hands. With a final, determined effort, they completed the protective ritual just as the artifact's malevolent force reached a deafening crescendo. Silence fell like a heavy curtain, the oppressive malevolence dissipating into nothingness. Millie and Sam collapsed to their knees, panting and drained but relieved that they had averted the looming catastrophe. Yet, as they exchanged a weary glance, a chilling realization dawned upon them: the artifact's power might be contained, but their ordeal was far from over. Unknown threats still lurked, awaiting their discovery in the shadows of their haunted town. Chapter 8: Confronting the Apparition. The moon hung low in the midnight sky, casting eerie shadows over the desolate town of Ravenscroft. Millie and Sam stood at the heart of the ancient cemetery, their breath visible in the chilly air. The crunch of fallen leaves beneath their sneakers echoed in the haunting silence. As the clock struck midnight, a bone-chilling gust of wind swept through the gravestones, sending shivers down their spines. The vengeful spirit materialized before them, a spectral figure cloaked in mist and anger. Its ethereal form crackled with an otherworldly energy, emitting an ominous glow that illuminated the darkness. Sam's heart raced, but he tightened his grip on the weathered book clutched in his hand, determination etched in his expression. "We can do this, Millie," he said, his voice quivering with a mix of fear and resolve. Millie nodded, her fingers trembling as she held the talisman pendant, a crucial element of the ritual, around her neck. "We have to stop it, Sam. No matter what." The vengeful spirit let out a bone-chilling wail, sending an icy chill through the air. Spectral tendrils extended toward them, crackling with malevolent energy. Millie and Sam stood their ground, bracing themselves for the impending clash. Their hearts pounded in unison as the spectral fury surged forth. Millie and Sam were engulfed in an ethereal tempest, struggling against the overwhelming force. Fear surged within them, but so did determination. With a swift gesture, Sam flipped through the weathered pages of the ancient book, eyes scanning the incantations they had painstakingly deciphered. He shouted the words of the ritual, his voice trembling yet resonating with authority. Millie joined in, her voice unwavering despite the fear clawing at her insides. Their combined recitation resonated through the graveyard, countering the vengeful spirit's haunting cries. The spectral entity recoiled, its form flickering as if struggling against an unseen barrier. Millie and Sam seized the moment, channeling their knowledge and strategy. They strategically positioned themselves, aligning with the ley lines they had mapped out, the key to weakening the spirit's spectral fury. The vengeful spirit let out an ear-piercing shriek, launching a barrage of ghostly apparitions toward them. Millie and Sam dodged and weaved, narrowly avoiding the spectral onslaught. With precision, they continued the incantation, each word spoken with unwavering determination. But the struggle intensified. The vengeful spirit surged forth with renewed vigor, its spectral attacks growing stronger and more relentless. Millie felt her resolve faltering, her breaths coming in short gasps. Sam's brow furrowed in concentration as he fought to maintain their grip on the ritual. "We can't give up," Sam yelled over the cacophony of spectral energy. Millie nodded, her determination reignited. She focused on the talisman pendant, channeling her inner strength as they pushed forward. A surge of power erupted around them as they reached the critical juncture of the ritual. The vengeful spirit let out a deafening roar, its form flickering and contorting in agony. Millie and Sam poured every ounce of their will into the final incantation. Their voices resonated with an otherworldly energy, weaving through the air in a haunting symphony of words and power. As the last words left their lips, a blinding light enveloped the graveyard. The vengeful spirit convulsed, its spectral form dissipating into the night air. Silence descended upon Ravenscroft as the spectral energy faded away. Millie and Sam stood breathless, their chests heaving with exertion and relief. They exchanged a wide-eyed glance, the weight of what they had accomplished sinking in. "We did it," Millie gasped, a mix of disbelief and elation in her voice. Sam nodded, a radiant smile breaking across his face. "Yeah, we did." The once haunted town lay peaceful beneath the moonlit sky, and a sense of triumph filled their hearts. Millie and Sam knew that although the darkness had threatened to consume them, their courage and resilience had triumphed in the end. Chapter 9, Aftermath. As the moon cast its silvery glow over the quiet town, Millie and Sam stood in the fading light of the abandoned church, their eyes fixed on the spot where moments ago, the spirit had vanished. Relief enveloped them like a warm blanket after a storm, leaving behind an eerie calmness. A shiver ran down Millie's spine as she exchanged a glance with Sam. They shared an unspoken understanding, a mix of relief and profound gratitude, evident in their eyes. The haunting manifestations that had gripped the town for weeks had finally ceased. The threat was gone. "We did it, Sam," Millie said softly, her voice breaking the tense silence. "It's over." Sam nodded, a faint smile playing on his lips. "Yeah, it's finally over." Their hearts were still racing, but the weight that had burdened their souls lifted. They breathed in the cool night air, grateful for the safety of their town and their own deliverance from the malevolent spirit's clutches. As they walked back home, their steps lighter than before, they found solace in each other's presence. They both knew this experience would forever change them. Seated on Millie's porch, they watched the stars twinkle overhead, a comforting sight after the haunting darkness they had just escaped. The silence between them was comforting, a shared understanding woven into their very beings. "I can't believe it's finally over," Millie said, breaking the quietude. "All those eerie encounters. I thought we were doomed." Sam leaned back in his chair, a solemn expression on his face. "I never imagined facing something so otherworldly. It's like we stepped into a nightmare." Millie nodded, her gaze fixed on the distant horizon. "We were just curious, wanting to uncover the truth behind the legends. We never expected this." Their conversation turned somber as they reflected on the eerie encounters that had pushed the boundaries of their reality. They mulled over the lessons learned, the dangers of curiosity, and the unforeseen consequences of meddling with the supernatural. "We should have listened to the warnings," Sam said, his voice tinged with regret. "We brought this upon ourselves." Millie placed a comforting hand on his shoulder. "We couldn't have known. But now we do. We've learned our lesson, Sam." In the quiet of the night, Millie and Sam sat in Millie's room, surrounded by the comforting glow of fairy lights. They talked for hours, processing the profound lessons etched into their souls by the haunting experience. "We need to be more careful, Sam," Millie said, her voice tinged with newfound understanding. "Some things are better left unknown." Sam nodded in agreement. "We have a newfound respect for the mysteries of life. It's not worth risking everything just to satisfy our curiosity." Their hearts heavy with the weight of wisdom gained, they knew their perspectives had shifted. They had experienced something beyond the natural realm, and it had changed them in ways they couldn't fully comprehend yet. "We're lucky to have made it through together," Sam said, a hint of gratitude in his voice. Millie smiled, a genuine warmth spreading across her face. "Yeah, we make a good team." The next morning, sunlight filtered through the curtains, signaling a new day. Millie and Sam stood on the doorstep, facing the world with renewed determination. The town seemed brighter, the air lighter, as if the shadows of the past had lifted. "We've been through a lot, Millie," Sam said, turning to his friend. "But I'm glad we faced it together." Millie grinned, a sense of closure settling within her. Me too, Sam. We'll cherish these lessons and move forward, respecting the boundaries between our world and the unknown. Hand in hand, they stepped out into the world, ready to embrace whatever mysteries life had in store for them, their friendship strengthened by the eerie ordeal that had shaped them in more ways than they could have ever imagined. Chapter 10, Closure and New Beginnings. Millie and Sam sat on the grassy knoll overlooking the serene town below. The golden hues of the setting sun painted the sky, casting long shadows across the landscape. The air was thick with the impending dusk, carrying a hint of the autumn chill. They'd grown accustomed to the eerie stillness that lingered after their recent ordeal, finding solace in the quiet comfort of each other's company. "I never thought we'd make it through that," Sam said softly, his eyes fixed on the horizon. Millie nodded, her fingers absently tracing patterns in the grass. "Yeah, it was intense. But we did. Together." They shared a knowing glance, a silent acknowledgement of the unspoken bond that had solidified between them through the harrowing events of the past few weeks. "It's strange," Sam continued, his voice tinged with wonder. "Despite everything, I feel like I understand more about this town now. Like there's a layer beneath the surface we never noticed before." Millie gazed at Sam, appreciating the newfound depth in his words. "I feel it too. It's like we unlocked a door to a hidden world. But I'm glad it's behind us now." The weight of their recent decision hung in the air. The cursed artifact that had caused chaos and fear in their town now rested in a hidden spot, buried deep within the earth, its malevolent power sealed away. "I hope we made the right choice," Millie confessed, a hint of uncertainty in her voice. "We did what we had to do," Sam replied, his tone firm with resolve. "Leaving it untouched and hidden is the best way to ensure it won't harm anyone else." With a shared nod, they rose to their feet and made their way to the secluded grove they had carefully selected for the artifact's burial. The ground was soft underfoot as they dug a shallow hole, the rhythmic sound of shovels breaking the earth filling the quiet surroundings. Once the artifact was securely placed within the makeshift grave, they exchanged a solemn glance, their emotions mingling between relief and a lingering sense of trepidation. "This is it," Millie whispered, her voice barely audible over the rustling leaves. "No one should ever find it here." Sam nodded in agreement, his hand brushing against hers in a fleeting moment of reassurance. "We've closed this chapter of our lives, Millie. And we won't let anything like this happen again." They stood there for a moment longer, silently honoring the symbolic closure they'd sought. With a deep breath, they covered the artifact with soil, packing it down until the ground appeared undisturbed once more. As the last rays of sunlight faded into the horizon, Millie and Sam shared a final glance, their unspoken promise echoing between them. They turned away from the grove, leaving the artifact's resting place behind, ready to embrace the simplicity of their ordinary lives once more. Back on the grassy knoll, they settled side by side, their gaze fixed on the town below. The streetlights flickered to life, casting a warm glow across the familiar streets. "You know," Millie said, a hint of a smile tugging at her lips, "there's something comforting about the normalcy of it all." Sam chuckled softly. "Definitely. I never thought I'd appreciate streetlights this much." Their laughter carried on the evening breeze, a joyful melody in contrast to the recent somber events. As darkness settled over the town, Millie and Sam sat together, finding solace in the simplicity of the ordinary. "We made it through," Sam murmured, a sense of gratitude coloring his voice. Millie leaned her head against his shoulder, a contented sigh escaping her lips. "And we'll always have each other, no matter what." Their shared journey had come to an end, but the lessons learned and the bond forged through adversity would remain etched in their hearts. With a newfound appreciation for the ordinary moments and a deeper understanding of life's mysteries, Millie and Sam embraced the hope of a brighter future, ready to face whatever lay ahead, together.